Hi everybody, it's Lace, and I am standing out here outside of Exeter, which is under siege, and I wanted to talk about being able to run through a siege as a low-level player. This came up in Noble's chat where somebody was, saying, "Oh, they're such a nuisance," but you have to understand what goes behind a siege to fully appreciate it. Now, towns or POT towns or NPC towns that have devotionals attract cabalists. Cabalists you can track they're associated with the planetary bodies. Like there's one there, looking at the sky. That's one there. Okay, as I'm going through, that's one there. I'm just kind of doing a thing, and I don't actually have an astrolabe on me, which actually grids out the stars above you. A moon dial would do the same thing. The astrolabe's kind of like a portable version of it, and based on how these planetary bodies are moving around the sky, that determines their attraction to the devotionals in NPC towns and player-run or player-owned towns and stuff. Two people that have worked a little bit with this, Core, aka Kigu Starfish, he actually has a web page now that predicts when cabalists are attacking what cities and towns are under sieges and stuff like that. And then Bowen Bloodgood spent countless hours modeling the sky, studying the sky, studying the constellations, or not constellations, I guess it's planetary bodies and stuff. And he hosts instructional one-on-one or group events at certain times. You have to look in community events for that. But he is extremely knowledgeable about everything going on with the sky. If you want to learn about it, that's the guy to talk to. Also, there's been mention that the constellations could have an effect on crafting at some point in time. So probably rather sooner than later, you should look at these things. I also want to talk about just pronunciation real quick. And one of the things that I wanted to say is that this character's name is Siobhan, Siobhan. Now, I've read some books in my past, and I was always saying Siobhan, which sounds like this drug. I think that's for nasal stuff or something. But anyway, it's actually pronounced Siobhan, and I only figured that out from, I think it was like Orphan Black and Mrs. S was Siobhan. And so when I say cabalist, some people say cabalist, kabbalist. I don't know which is right on that. I know Siobhan is the way to pronounce my character's name correctly, and I think it's a beautiful name. It's just my bad not knowing Gaelic, Celtic, or whatever, and saying it correctly. So it is Siobhan, even though it looks like Siobhan. I just had to point that out because I love this character name because it's really pretty. So Siobhan is just inside. She just zoned into this siege. The sun's coming up and stuff. Kind of wanted to run through this in daylight rather than the nighttime. And if I look at her, I'm going to see she just has some peasant gear on. Just an outfit she had on yesterday for a fishing derby and stuff as one of the checkpoint people. She has one coconut, not two. If you have your coconuts equipped while running through a siege, you will not be able to cast any spells. As a low-level toon, and I think she's what? Okay, yeah, so she's like 24 adventure, 24 producer. Basically, she ran through the beginning starter zone, and that's before we even had outskirts. So she hasn't done anything hardly at all. She's very super low. She has no equipment on. She doesn't even have a weapon on. But if you equip your coconuts, if I hit Z to go into combat, your default combat will have like a healing spell on it, typically. I think almost everybody does. And I'm going to use that and spam that as I'm running through this zone. I'm not doing anything else. I have no weapons, no armor, no bonuses, nothing. I'm just a low-level character. As I run through this, in every one of these, there's Hill Siege, Forest Siege, what's the other one? Hills, Forest. I think there's a mountain one or something. If you just go straight through, there's a straight through path. If I kind of look at my compass, I can see my exit to town that's going to set my destination. So I just basically want to run a straight route. Now, if I go down this way, I'm going to end up encountering things that are going to kill me. But there is no reason to go that way if my purpose is just to get to the town. So I'm going to try to go around this. I'm going to end up in this fire. I almost always do. And what do? I'm going to pop off a heal. and there's things laying around me that could kill me, but I'm just gonna keep on going. Just keep swimming, just like Dory says, and finding just keep swimming. You know, just keep popping off my heels. Oh, look, I'm leveling it up. And basically, once you get to where you see all these NPC mercenaries, I'm pretty much safe. And all I have to do is cross the gate threshold, and I'm to my destination town that I was trying to get to. So, again, yes, it's two loading screens instead of one, but it's not that big of a deal, and sieges have a purpose, like I've said. For one, they're a good source of wood when you're defeating the engineers and stuff. Two, is part of the storyline of the Kabbalist pronunciation thing, and how they relate to the devotionals that a particular town or POT town have and stuff. So they're not just thrown out there willy-nilly. They serve a purpose and they're part of the story. But you can get through them very easily, even as a low-level toon. They're much easier to navigate than some of the control points, in fact. I think it was discussed today that there's basically only one control point you quote-unquote have to go through to get from one side to the other. But again, you can always teleport if you've made friends, and things like that. So, navigationally wise, they're not that big of a deal. It's one extra loading screen. It's pretty easy to cross them. And as you get higher, you'll probably equip your coconuts. You might have train dash, or some other speed thing, or a fleet flute or something, and you can just fly through them. And it's really just a little tiny speed bump, but understand their purpose as far as it relates to the sky and celestial bodies in the sky, or planetary bodies in the sky, and the storyline. So I hope you come to appreciate them. So take care, everybody. Happy hunting. Be safe and appreciate the sieges. I like the sieges because that's my nickname in real life. Siege.